Welcome to the studio, it's Froyle here and I'm so glad you've joined me. Today we're continuing our fantastic series using the Color Cube palette for our inspiration. I'm experimenting with different pouring mediums, trying different fluid art techniques and adding some beautiful embellishments to create fabulous abstract paintings. This is the Color Cube palette that we're using today. It's number 021 and volume 1. And if you want to know more about the Color Cube, have a look in the description under the video. You'll find a link to where you can purchase it by Sarah Renee Clark. It's a fabulous idea and I'm so enjoying creating these paintings. Now our pouring medium today is the US Floetrol mixed with the gloss medium, 70% Floetrol, 30% of the gloss medium, and the paints are mixed roughly 1 part paint to 3 parts pouring medium. Now I say roughly because my measurements are a little bit of an approximation. They are never actually perfect, but I am inspired by Molly's recipe using this pouring medium, and I'm trying 9 different pouring mediums and different recipes to see which ones I like the best and which ones create the best response with paint. So for today's colors, we have dark blue, steel blue, apricot, turquoise and Bondi blue. Absolutely beautiful colors, but if you look at this color palette, one of these is not like the others. The apricot color is a lot different to the beautiful blues and greens of those other colors, so we have to really consider how we're going to put the paint on the canvas, what techniques are we going to use, and how is our composition going to work to take advantage of the beautiful colors. Because if I pour all of them into a cup, they're going to turn out absolutely muddy. Now I have also used the beautiful iridescent white. This is a Liquitex color, and most of these colors are either Liquitex or Amsterdam brands that I've used and mixed together to create the beautiful palette. So I've put the blues and the turquoise into a cup, created it quite dirty, let it mix up a bit because I'm thinking we need to put some color blocks on the canvas first, some puddles, then put the beautiful dirty mix and perhaps a bronze swipe. I've got some Amsterdam bronze in a swipe mix, which is 1 part paint and 3 parts Australian Floetrol. It works absolutely fabulous. It's definitely one of my favorites. So I'm thinking that's how we start. I'm going to start with this beautiful lush dark blue color. Maybe here, maybe down here. We have to really consider the placement of the colors because like I said, I don't want them to all get muddy, and to mix with the apricot, that would actually create a lot of mud. And I'm going to put my iridescent white next to my dark blue because I absolutely love the way the iridescent spreads out into the other paint colors. Next, I'm thinking let's add some of my dirty pour, maybe up here. And oh, it's mixed up really nice. Look at that iridescent white in there. Let's bring it down the middle. Perhaps over here, some of the turquoise is now coming out. I'm thinking we might give that a little bit of a move around before adding the apricot. The apricot's a beautiful color, but it's going to be best if it's left on its own. I'm thinking if we mix it with these turquoise and blues, it might not be so beautiful after all. So let's move around the beautiful dirty cup of mixture and our solid puddle colors. See what kind of composition we create, and then we might add the apricot. Oh yes, that's looking rather beautiful. I'm liking that very much. I think I like it around this way better. Look at that glorious mix of the colors coming down there. Now, I really like the strong dark color up here. And I'm thinking let's add a bit of this blue in there as well. Same with down here, I'm really liking that. Now, what are we going to do with the apricot? That is a question. Let's put it through here with some of the pearl white because it's going to sit very nicely on the pearl white. We'll add the apricot through here. That could work. And if it doesn't, we'll just scrape it off. Not to worry. You don't quite know until you start playing with the colors how well they're going to respond or not respond. And you have to consider the composition. Ooh, look at that color there. That's looking rather beautiful. But do I want the composition to be taken over by the apricot? Well, not really. So let's just push it back over that way. I don't mind that. We'll move some more off this edge over here. Now we've got a beautiful big stripe of apricot and I'm thinking let's add a swipe on that. I do really like the bigger areas of blank solid color. That's just a personal preference for abstract paintings. I don't like them completely covered with the textured marks because I find it's too busy for my brain. I do like the negative space, and see how here the beautiful iridescent white is hugging the dark blue. I love that. I love the way it's gonna kind of spread out across that color. Oops, I've got a bit of a hole down the edge here. We can't have that. Let's put a bit more of that over there so we can cover that edge. We can't have any gaping holes. That would never do. Have a look at the cells that are popping up on there. That's because it's crossing over those underneath blues. Hasn't mixed up too much. It hasn't gone muddy. Yay team, we're doing good. But I also have lost my turquoise. So I'm thinking let's add a little bit of turquoise here. Maybe like this. A little bit of shape up here as well, in between those beautiful colors. And we could perhaps give it a little comb over to create some more shape in there, some more lines. I'm liking that, a bit more interest. Those colors will of course blend really well together, so no problem with that. That's not going to get muddy at all. Let's do the same up here. Mix up those colors a little just to add a bit more interest, a few lines. I'm picking up some of the paint that's fallen off the side and combing it through. I like those marks that the comb makes, and it's just a bit more interesting. Now, this is looking beautiful. Loving this, loving that color. Thinking we should put a swipe through there. Which size palette knife? Maybe this one. It's got some cells developing pretty nicely, so let's just add a swipe. I've got Amsterdam for my swipe mix, and the cell activator is the Australian Floetrol. I'm going to run it through here, see what it does. Adding some more texture to that area. That's looking pretty good, so I'm thinking let's add a little bit of the beautiful bronze swipe onto this section that I've been playing with. Oh, those colors are magnificent. Man, I love painting. And abstract art is my absolute favorite. Man, look at that. It just sunk, entirely sunk. But the marks of it's really cool. What else do I want to do? Shall we do one up the other edge? Okay. Let's have a look at it up this way. Hey, I don't really mind it vertical. I think I like it better. It's starting to look like a beach. Let's put a swipe across here. There is a lot of paint in these corners, so perhaps that's why it's sunk so fast. But I don't mind it because it's just creating a really nice texture. I'm liking that. Now, what else do we want to do to it? Is the question. Let's just move it a little perhaps and see where the thick paint is lying. Oh, it's in that corner. What about this corner? That corner's not so bad. This time I'm going to try a white golden paint swipe on this corner, because I lost my beautiful bronze when I tipped it. I know, it happens. And I think the white will be more dramatic with the beautiful turquoise. Yes, I'm liking the white. Now, the question is there anything else I want to add to it? I decided it needed a little bit more dramatic contrast, so I put on some of the dark blue, some more of the beautiful apricot, and then I swiped it with a black, Amsterdam black swipe. What do you think now? I can't help myself, I have to keep poking at it. But I think I'm happy, and I do think I actually like it vertical rather than horizontal. I think I'm liking it up that way. That's making me a lot happier with the composition. It's rather beautiful. The metallic in the white pearl is coming through the colors. I love that. And all of the cells here look really fascinating. The lacing is a little flat. I think it's because it's quite thick. There's quite a lot amount of paint on the canvas, so maybe that's why my swiping hasn't held so well. But overall, I think it's beautiful. The colors are working. It kind of feels like the beach, don't you think? With this, oops, I flipped paint on it. With the sand and the texture. Oh, actually that gives me another idea. Seeing as I just flipped paint on it. What about if we add some of my favorite Liquitex Iridescent Antique Gold. Now this is an acrylic spray paint. It's not an enamel spray paint. And I have been busting it out recently because I love it. And really, don't look, it might end badly. What I actually like to do is just spray it on. But you can also put it into a cup like a sensible person would. Like this, but you probably want to do that outside, and then you can pour it on out of the cup. But look how amazing it looks. It beads up. It looks fantastic. I'm totally in love with this right now. I'm going to put it into my sandy area because we've just decided we're at the beach, and it's working well in that section where those cells are. Do we want to add some? Of course we do. I've got some in the cup. I could be sensible. But you know I'm not going to be sensible. Looks fantastic. I love it. I love adding different elements to the paintings to see what the paint textures would do. And I'm thinking I love it up this vertical format the best. Definitely that gold, I'm telling you, it's compatible with acrylic paints. You pay a heck of a lot more for it, but really, I'm thinking it's worth it because I get to spray it on my paintings and it doesn't crack and it doesn't go crazy and it just sits nicely with the other paint. Look at it up here. Even the overspray looks amazing. If you're sensible and you put it on with a cup, you don't get that beautiful overspray texture. You just have to be willing to risk it, really. Willing to wreck it. Then you have to save it and think of other ways to fix it. But it's all fun. It's all part of the adventure. I absolutely love it. And that's what I love about fluid art techniques. You can never reproduce them. You're not quite sure how they're going to turn out. You hope for the best. But really, depending on the paint pigments you've used, how thick or thin your paints are, the pouring medium you decided on. There's so many variables, there's so many options. That's why I'm doing this absolutely fun and love it experiment of trying all the different pouring mediums, because they kind of all respond differently. They have different advantages and disadvantages. I'm loving this. I think it's beautiful. Even my overspray looks good. It's making me happy. It feels like we're at the beach. What's not to love about that? Okay, I think I will leave it now. I'm just wanting to fix that section up here, and I think it's looking pretty good. how good the painting's dried up, and now I'm going to give it a varnish. I like to use a brush-on varnish. I find it covers the painting better, and this is the Liquitex Gloss Varnish. I've been experimenting with a few different varnishes, and this is the one that I particularly like the best at the moment. So I'm putting it in a dish. I've got a really soft brush, easy peasy. I like to brush the first coat one way, like horizontal, and then the next day I like to put on a second coat vertical. I find then that the varnish really covers the painting well. It's got a nice glossy surface. It brings up all of the beautiful colors, and look how fabulous it is now. All beautiful and shiny. And it's all finished, taped and strung on the back. It's got the little feet, it's got my label, it's strung, it's ready to go. I can put it straight up on the wall, and doesn't it look beautiful? Thanks for joining me today. I love this painting. I absolutely love these areas here of the spray paint. That is definitely one of my favorite techniques right now with the fluid art paintings. Doesn't the lacing look good on this one? Yes, I'm loving it. It has very much a beachy kind of feel, not so much literally looking at it, but in the feel of the painting. It's always about the feel of the painting. I love it. It's fresh. It looks fabulous on the wall. It turned out beautiful. Now, don't forget, you can find more info in the description under the video. And I can't wait to see what we're going to work on next time. What color palettes are we going to use? So I hope you're going to come back and join me next time in the studio.